The room was silent. 1,000 alien eyes stared at the center table. The great hall of the Galactic Council floated above a giant star. It was the most powerful place in the galaxy. Earth's ambassador, David Wren, stood alone. His hands were behind his back. His face was calm, but inside his heart raced. He had heard whispers, strange meetings, quiet talks, but nothing clear. Now the whispers were real. A tall alien, with silver skin and a crown of lights, stood and raised one arm. "We begin the vote," it said in a deep voice. "Should humanity be removed from the Galactic Union?" David's eyes widened. He stepped forward. "Wait," he said. "We haven't broken any laws. We helped build the Union. We bled in your wars." The Council ignored him. One by one, the votes came in. "Remove them. Remove. Yes. Gone. Out." Some voices were loud, some quiet, but they all said the same thing. David looked around. He saw faces he once called friends. Now they turned away. Others smirked. A few looked sad, but none stopped the vote. Then the final voice spoke. "It is done," the silver alien said. "By majority, Earth is no longer part of this union. Humanity is exiled." David stepped back. It felt like the floor had dropped from under him. "Why?" he asked softly. No one answered. He clenched his fists. "You're making a mistake." Still, silence. He left the chamber without another word. Back on Earth, the news spread fast. The Galactic Union had cut all ties. Trade, protection, communication, it was all gone in one day. People were confused, angry. Some cried, others protested in the streets. How can they do this? "We helped them. This must be a lie." But it was not a lie. Within days, Union ships arrived at human colonies. Earth was ordered to leave every planet they had settled. Soldiers pointed guns at human children. Scientists were thrown out of labs they had built. Merchants were forced to leave markets they once owned. Humanity packed what little it could. They left in broken ships. Some cried, some swore. All felt betrayed. Earth became quiet again. The stars above no longer held friends. In a dark room under Earth's surface, a small group met. They were generals, scientists, engineers, and one old woman in a wheelchair. Her name was Alira Voss, and she had built Earth's first warp engine. "They think we're weak," she said, her voice calm. "They think we'll die in silence." General Kiro leaned forward. "What do you suggest?" "We don't beg," Alira said. "We disappear, and we rebuild, not to beg again, but to return on our own terms." Silence followed her words, then a quiet nod, then another, until every head in the room agreed. Project Ashbourne was born that night. A new plan, a new path. Years passed. The galaxy moved on. Most believed humanity was finished. Some laughed, others forgot. Earth's name faded from memory, but in the far edges of space, far from any map, strange signals began to appear. Ships vanished near dead stars. Outposts went silent. A few whispered about dark wings in space. Ghosts, they said. One merchant ship caught a glimpse, a shadowy figure among the stars, faster than any Union vessel. It had no flag, no ID, just 3 words burned onto its hull. "We remember Earth." Back at the Galactic Council, a low-level officer walked into a secure room holding a strange report. He handed it to his commander, a thick-scaled alien with 6 eyes. "Sir," the officer said, "a signal from Sector 93. It carries an old human code." The commander frowned. "Impossible. Earth is gone." The officer shook his head. "The signal is real, and there's something else." He handed over a piece of metal, burned, black, and sharp. On it were the words, "Exile was your mistake." The commander's hands trembled slightly. "Send a scout ship," he ordered, "and do not report this to the council yet." On a quiet hill outside New London, Earth's new capital. A child stood with his grandfather, watching the stars. "Grandpa, will we ever go back?" the boy asked. The old man looked up. His eyes were hard but sad. "Not to beg," he said. "But one day, yes, we'll return, not with open hands, but with fire." The stars did not answer, but something deep in the dark was growing. Humanity had been cast out, but it was not broken. It was waiting. The stars were quiet, but ships were disappearing. At first, it was small. A mining ship went silent near the edge of the galaxy, then a scout ship, then a trade convoy. No distress calls, no wreckage, just silence. Some called it bad luck. Others blamed pirates. But deep inside the Galactic Council, fear began to grow. Started with a secret meeting. A large, insect-like alien named Commander Zelric slammed a file on the table. 10 ships gone, no survivors, all in the same sector. The others looked at him, confused. "Pirates?" asked one. "No," Zelric growled. "No pirate leaves nothing behind." He tapped a screen. Strange images flashed, blurry shapes in space, glowing eyes in the dark, strange energy spikes. "These aren't pirates," he said. "These are something else." Far from the Council's reach, a lone ship drifted in space. Its engines were cold. Its lights were dead. Inside, a soldier floated in zero gravity, eyes wide with fear. Blood floated beside him, tiny red orbs in the air. He had sent one last signal before the ship went dark. That signal was picked up by a small research outpost on the edge of Sector 93. It repeated one word, over and over: human. The Council denied it. They told the galaxy the missing ships were an accident. Old space routes, they said. Gravity storms. But people were not blind. Whispers began to spread in dark spaceports and shady markets. Something's out there. They don't speak. They don't leave wreckage. They're human. No one believed it. Humans were gone, weren't they? On a dead moon, deep in forgotten space, black ships gathered in silence. They didn't glow. They didn't hum. They were built to disappear. No windows, no names, no marks. Only one symbol, an old Earth flag, cracked down the middle. Inside one of the ships, a figure stood tall, staring at a glowing map. It was General Cairo. "Status?" he asked. A young officer responded, 3 more Council patrols destroyed. No signals sent. Clean sweep." Cairo nodded. "Good. We move to Phase 2 tomorrow." He turned to a dark screen. The screen lit up, showing an old woman in a wheelchair, a Lyra. "Voss, they're beginning to notice," she said. "Let them," Cairo replied. "Let fear grow first." Back in the Council, a meeting turned into shouting. "How many ships do we have to lose?" screamed a fish-faced senator. "Show us proof," demanded another. "You say it's humans? I want evidence." Commander Zelric stood up and tossed a small cube on the table. It lit up, showing an image of a burned hull. Black metal, torn, open. Carved deep into its side were the words, "We did not forget." Silence fell. A soft voice broke it. "If humans have returned, what do they want?" Zelric answered, voice low and steady. "They were exiled, thrown out like trash. What do you think they want?" The Council tried to act strong. They sent more ships. They watched the stars. But every time they reached the dark sectors, they vanished. No survivors, no wreckage, just a single message, found once, drifting in space. "We are the shadows you made." A smuggler named Trass was the first to survive. His ship limped into a spaceport full of holes and scorch marks. His face was pale. His hands shook. "They came out of nowhere," he whispered to the guards. "No lights, no warnings. They cut through my escort like paper." "What did they look like?" someone asked. Trass stared into the distance. "They were fast, silent, cold. And one of them, I swear, I saw a face under the helmet. It was human." The spaceport went quiet. Then someone laughed nervously. "You're mad!" Trask looked up, eyes filled with terror. "You think that makes it less true?" In the outer colonies, fear spread. Families locked doors. Stations stopped sending ships into deep space. Leaders asked the Council for help. The Council told them to stay calm, but behind closed doors they were panicking. On Earth, deep inside the hidden city known as Black Core, humans watched it all. Cairo smiled as he read the intercepted reports. "They're scared," he said. "They should be," Alira replied. "We gave them everything, and they exiled us." She looked at a new prototype ship being built. "Now we give them a lesson." The stars stayed silent, but the shadows were moving, and every shadow whispered the same truth. Humanity had returned, but not to talk, to show the galaxy what exile had created. In the frozen edges of the galaxy, far beyond the last trade routes, there was a planet made of ice. No one lived there. No maps showed it. The Council had marked it dead, no air, no life, no value. But they were wrong. Beneath the surface, under thick layers of blue ice, something moved, something human. Captain Rylak, a young scout officer from the Council, was on a special mission. His ship, Vrak 7, had been sent to explore strange signals near the dead zone. The signals were weak, but they didn't match any known code. He stood at the front of the bridge, looking out the window. "That's the planet," his navigator said, "cold, dark, lifeless, or so it seemed." "Take us in slowly," Rylak ordered. The ship moved toward the icy world. As they flew lower, they saw something strange, huge straight lines in the ice, perfectly shaped, like roads. But who would build? Roads on a dead planet? Rylak frowned. "Zoom in." The screen showed metal, huge doors buried in the ice, doors too big for any normal base. "Send a drone," he said. The drone flew down and scanned the area. Then, the screen flickered. A new image appeared, an eye, mechanical. "Red, watching them." "Is that a camera?" the navigator whispered. Before anyone could answer, a sound filled the ship. "Leave now." It was a voice, cold, clear, human. Everyone froze. Rylak's mouth went dry. Is this real?" The lights flickered. "You are not welcome." The ship began to shake. Rylak shouted, "Get us out of here!" The pilot pulled hard. Engines roared. The ship turned, but it was too late. A beam of blue light fired from beneath the ice. The Vrak 7 vanished. No explosion, no wreckage, just silence. Back at Council Command, Commander Zelric received the final seconds of the Scouts' feed. He watched the red eye. He heard the human voice. He saw the beam. He stood up and stared at the screen. "It's them," he whispered. "They're hiding on that ice planet?" someone asked. Zelric nodded. "Not hiding, preparing." Inside the ice planet, deep underground, the humans watched the data from the destroyed scout ship. General Cairo stood in front of a glowing table showing the galaxy's star map. "That was too soon," he said. "They'll know now." Alira Voss wheeled forward. "Let them know." She looked at a massive hangar. Black warships stood in rows, shining under red lights. "We built these in silence. Now we sharpen them in fire." In the galaxy's core, panic spread again. Another ship is gone? There was no warning? Who could build weapons that powerful? The Council argued, shouted, and blamed each other, but none of them had answers. One senator said what many feared. "If the humans have weapons like this, we may not be able to stop them." Zelric called a private meeting with the High Command. He showed them a map. They have factories underground. A full base. "How do you know?" asked a counselor. Zelric looked serious. "We caught a hidden satellite. Human tech. It was watching us." The room went silent. "They know our movements?" another asked. Zelric nodded. "Then we must. Attack now," someone said. "No," Zelric said. "Not yet. We don't know how many they have." He paused. "We taught them everything, and then we left them in the dark. What do you think they built in all those years?" Back on the ice planet, codenamed Frost Core, Cairo gave new orders. Test the Nova Drive. Prepare Phantom Fleet. A young engineer saluted. It's ready, sir. One of the giant warships hummed to life. Its engines burned cold blue. It vanished. No flash, no sound. In one blink, it disappeared into hyperspace. Perfect, Cairo said. They won't even see us coming. Alira watched, her eyes proud but sad. Once we move, she said softly, there's no going back. Cairo nodded. Good. I don't want to go back. I want them to feel what exile feels like. Somewhere across the stars, a message appeared. On every pirate channel, every dark market network, every deep space radio. No name, no location, just 4 words. Earth has not fallen. People laughed at first, but then more ships disappeared, more ghost sightings. A rich merchant ship returned, its cargo untouched, but every crew member was missing. One word was carved into the main door. Remember. In the ice and fire, humanity was reborn, not in peace, not in mercy, but in silence, strategy, and strength. The fire hidden in ice was ready to rise. The Galactic Council chamber was in chaos. Leaders from over 50 species shouted at each other. Their voices echoed through the grand crystal hall. Who's next? My colony vanished last week. Trade routes are unsafe. They strike from nowhere and leave nothing behind. At the center of it all sat Commander Zelric, silent, watching. He had warned them. He had seen the signs, and now, it was too late. A screen blinked to life behind him. An emergency message. Another ship lost in Sector 12, a voice reported. No distress signal, no escape pods, just gone. The council leader, High Speaker Dren of the Vorkan species, stood up. This is war, he growled. Zelric finally spoke. We exiled humans, we turned them into ghosts, and now the ghosts have teeth. In a private council room, the top military minds met behind locked doors. Maps showed empty sectors, colonies marked as silent, supply lines marked as cut. They don't fight like before, one general said. No flags, no warnings. They strike, vanish, and leave only fear behind. Zelric leaned over the map. They learned. From us. He pointed at a glowing red dot. The ice planet. This is their main base. We believe it's called Frost Core. We'll strike it, another general said. Destroy it before they grow stronger. Zelric shook his head. You won't find it? They built it underground, hidden, and guarded by weapons we've never seen before. A hologram showed the last image caught by a council satellite, a massive black warship shaped like a blade, with engines that left no trail. The ship vanished in one blink. No lights, no sound, just gone. Zelric looked at the others. That is what we're facing. Back on Earth, or what remained of it, humanity watched the galaxy panic. General Cairo stood before his war commanders. They've begun to fear us, he said. They don't understand how far we've come. Alira Voss sat nearby, her voice soft but sharp. For years they forgot us, while we built in silence, learned in shadows, trained in darkness. A screen showed footage. Council colonies burning, ships spinning out of control, soldiers dropping weapons and running in fear. This is only the beginning, Cairo said. They exiled us once. Now we show them what exile created. Across the galaxy, rumors spread like wildfire. Have you heard? A single human ship destroyed an entire fleet. They strike without warning, without sound. Some say they have weapons that bend space itself. In marketplaces and spaceports, the whispers grew louder, and behind the whispers, terror. The council tried to control the fear. They placed guards on every world, banned travel to outer sectors, increased patrols, but it wasn't enough. Ships still vanished. More messages appeared, burned into the walls of empty space stations. We remember. Exile has a price. Earth lives. One night, an entire council base on planet Dravon went dark. When new troops arrived days later, they found no bodies. Only one thing was left behind, etched into the command center wall. "We are what you made." Back at Frost Corps, a message came through. It was from a young human spy hidden in the council ranks. "They're falling apart," she reported. "The council doesn't trust each other. Some species want to leave the Union." Cairo smiled. "Then it's time," he said. "Send the signal. Phantom Fleet, launch." Dozens of ships powered up in the deep ice hangars. Engines hummed low. Lights flickered. Soldiers loaded weapons. They weren't like the old human armies. These warriors had been trained in silence, molded by exile. Forged by betrayal, they were shadows with purpose. As the Phantom Fleet vanished into space, one council admiral screamed across a communication line, "Who are you? Why are you doing this?" A calm human voice answered, "We are the ones you left behind. And now, we've come home." The council's panic became terror. All across the galaxy, people began preparing for something they could not see, something they could not stop. And above it all, the humans watched, silent, focused, relentless. The Phantom Fleet moved like shadows through the stars. No signals, no noise, no mercy. Each warship was painted black, shaped like a blade, and powered by the Nova Drive. Silent engines built in exile, far stronger than anything the galaxy had ever seen. They didn't fly like normal ships. They blinked across space. One moment they were light years away. The next, they were above a council planet. The first target was a military supply world, Delvrax Prime. It had shields, defense towers, and a full battalion of council soldiers. It was supposed to be safe. Then the sky turned black. At first, the people thought it was a solar storm. Then the black ships appeared, dozens of them. No warning, no message, just death. From the lead ship, General Cairo watched the battle in silence. "Begin," he said. The Phantom Fleet opened fire, but not with normal weapons. Blue beams of compressed plasma tore through towers like paper. Stealth drones slipped through shield walls. Humans landed in silence, wearing dark armor that absorbed light. They didn't speak. They didn't shout. They moved like shadows and struck like fire. In 15 minutes, Delvrax Prime fell. The council battalion surrendered. No one answered them. The humans left a message burned into the command center floor. "This is the beginning." News spread fast, faster than the council could hide it. "Delvrax Prime is gone." They took it in minutes. No demands, no communication. Panic exploded across the galaxy. Markets crashed, fleets recalled. Leaders screamed in fear, but nothing stopped the humans. One by one, the Phantom Fleet attacked key council locations. A fuel refinery near the starfield of Zorn, gone. A black site prison on Moon Rekka, emptied. A weapons factory on planet. Vorin exploded from the inside. Each strike was perfect, precise, cold, and always the same words were left behind. "We are the children of exile." Back in the council chambers, no one sat calmly anymore. The crystal floor was cracked. Holograms blinked with red alerts. Senators argued. Generals shouted. "Where do they come from? Why can't we stop them? We gave them space. Why are they doing this?" Commander Zelric stood tall. "You didn't give them space," he said. "You gave them exile, pain, isolation." He pointed at the hologram of Earth. "You gave them time to become something you don't understand." Meanwhile, deep inside, Frost Corps, Elira Voss stood before a massive screen showing the latest strike. "They are reacting exactly as we planned," she said. General Cairo nodded. "We show them we can reach them. We strike only what matters. That's how fear grows." Another officer stepped forward. "All captured prisoners are being returned unharmed." Cairo turned. "Good. We don't want their people. We want their memory." He looked around the command hall. They must remember that Earth was never weak, that humans are not gone, that shadows have names. In the stars, council fleets tried to move, but the humans were always ahead. Ships sent for rescue arrived. Too late. Ships sent for attack found nothing but space dust. Some fleets even vanished before reaching their destination. Humanity was everywhere and nowhere. A council captain named Larkin sent one last message before his ship vanished. They are not just ships. They are hunters. Static. Then silence. Another fleet gone. In border worlds, civilians began fleeing. People painted, "We respect Earth" on their homes and ships. Small planets raised white flags, even when no humans were nearby. The fear was that strong. One merchant ship left a crate of gold and fuel outside their station. It held a note, "A gift for humanity. Please spare us." No one touched it. Humans didn't come. But the message was clear. The galaxy was surrendering, one frightened piece at a time. On Earth, the Phantom Fleet returned to refuel. General Cairo stood at the loading bay, watching the black ships land. He looked calm, but there was a storm in his heart. Alira wheeled up beside him. "They fear us now," she said. "They should," he answered. She stared at him. "But fear is not victory." Cairo nodded slowly. "Not yet." He turned back to the ships. "But it's how we start." In the deep void of space, a new council message was broadcast. To the humans, "We ask for talks. We seek peace." There was no reply, only a cold signal. Repeating from an unknown source, "You taught us exile. Now you learn fear." The galaxy was shaking, planets locked down, trade stopped. Fear spread faster than any fleet. The council had no answers. Their fleets were powerless. Their leaders terrified. Their enemies invisible. Only one name echoed through the stars: humanity. High Speaker Dren stood in the center of the council hall. He looked older now. His voice was weaker, but his words were heavy. "We must talk to them," he said, "before this becomes extinction." Some shouted in anger. Others whispered in fear. Zelric stepped forward. "I agree. This is not a war we can win. We must ask for peace." One senator laughed bitterly. "We exiled them, and now we must beg them?" Zelric looked straight at him. "Yes, or we fall." A message was sent out to deep space. "To the leaders of Earth, we request peace. A meeting. Anywhere you choose." The message repeated across thousands of channels. No one expected a reply. Then, 4 hours later, a signal came through. Only 3 words. One meeting. One chance. The location chosen was a neutral space station floating near a dying star. No weapons. No fleets nearby. Just silence and cold light. The council sent their best diplomats. Zelric went himself. He stepped into the meeting room, simple, clean, and empty, except for one chair across from his. Then they arrived. 2 humans, General Cairo and Alira Voss. No armor, no guards, just silence in their steps. They sat down. Zelric looked at them carefully. He remembered when humans begged to join. The council, when they were hopeful, soft. These were not those humans. "Thank you for coming," Zelric began. Alira said nothing. Cairo only nodded once. "We admit our mistake," Zelric continued. "The exile was wrong. It was fear, not wisdom, and we offer peace now." Still silence. "We're ready to return Earth's place in the council. Full membership, full respect." Cairo leaned forward. His voice was calm but sharp like a blade. "You offer respect now?" Zelric tried to stay calm. "Yes. We..." Cairo cut him off. "When you exiled us, did you offer respect?" Zelric hesitated. "When your ships bombed our colonies, did you offer mercy?" Cairo's eyes burned. "When our people froze in dark space, hunted by pirates, left to die, did you offer peace then?" Zelric said nothing. Cairo sat back. "That's what I thought." Alira finally spoke. "You fear us now. That's why you call this a talk. But it's not a talk, it's a warning." Zelric frowned. "A warning?" She nodded. "There will be no peace. Not yet. You don't get to forget what you did." Zelric stood up, angry now. You would let billions suffer for revenge? Cairo also stood. No. We let billions remember. He pointed a finger at Zelric. You built your peace on our silence. Now we take that silence away. The humans turned and left. No signatures, no handshake, no smile, just cold truth. And fear that stayed behind in the room long after they were gone. The council was silent for hours after Zelric returned. One leader finally asked, "So what do we do now?" Zelric looked down. We wait. 2 days later, the waiting ended. The Phantom Fleet returned, this time not to strike military targets. They hit power grids, communication hubs, government data centers. They didn't kill. They turned off the lights, whole planets went dark, messages failed, defense systems died, and the people screamed in the dark. On the Council homeworld, cities lost power for 8 hours. Hospitals, security, food systems, everything failed. And in the middle of the Capitol Plaza, glowing letters appeared in the sky. One chance, you wasted it. The galaxy now understood. This was not about peace. This was about memory, about pain, about making every species remember what it felt like to be powerless, like humanity once was. Back on Frostcore, General Cairo watched the reports. He did not smile. There was no joy in what they did, but there was purpose. Alira joined him. Zelric will talk again, she said. He won't be the one talking next time, Cairo replied. He stared at the stars. He'll be the one listening. The council once ruled with pride. It was the center of order, the protector of peace, the voice of law across 1,000 stars. But now everything was falling apart, and the reason was clear: humanity. In the Outer Rim, 10 systems declared independence. We no longer trust the council, said Governor Varn of the Krell. They promised safety, they delivered fear. Other planets followed. No more taxes, no more orders, no more trust. Council fleets were frozen in fear. Ships refused to leave hangars. Captains ignored commands. Some soldiers even ran away, fleeing into unknown space. Why? Because no one wanted to be next. No one wanted to face the Phantom Fleet. On planet Threxus, a powerful species called the Korth had ruled for centuries. Strong, proud, cruel. They had once hunted humans for sport during the exile. Now, their palace burned. A single human ship had dropped stealth pods in the capital. No bombs, no gunfire, just silence. When the sun rose, every Korth leader was gone, vanished. The people found one symbol burned into the throne. Remember Earth. News of the fall of Threxus spread fast. If the Korth could fall, anyone could. The council began to crumble. Senators resigned, alliances broke, and fear ruled everything. Commander Zelric stood in the empty council chamber. He looked around. So many. Chairs now empty. So many voices now silent. He pressed a button, opening a secure channel. Earth Command, he said. I speak for those who are left. What do you want? The screen blinked. Then General Cairo appeared, his face calm, cold, focused. We want truth, he said. Zelric was quiet. You already made your point, he finally said. Why keep going? Cairo's voice turned sharp. Because you haven't learned. Back on Frostcore, Alira stood before a screen showing all active targets. She turned to Cairo. Should we stop now? She asked. Cairo shook his head. We stop. When the galaxy understands. He walked to the center of the command hall. Activate Echo Protocol. Across the stars, something new began. This time, humans didn't strike. They spoke. Messages appeared everywhere, on station walls, in holograms, even inside personal devices. Messages that showed history, human ships burning during exile, families starving on cold planets, children begging for mercy at closed borders, the truth, the pain, the silence. The galaxy had to face what it had done. On small planets, people cried. Some held hands in regret. Some sent messages to Earth. We are sorry. But others turned angry. Why are we being punished for what our leaders did? We didn't choose exile. But the humans didn't answer. They didn't argue. They simply watched and waited. The biggest empire in the galaxy, the Varnak Dominion, tried to fight back. They sent 300 ships toward Frostcore. It was the largest attack force ever assembled since the ancient wars. But when they arrived, Frostcore was gone. Not destroyed, moved, no trace, no signal, no humans, just a message left in space, floating in the debris of fake structures. We were never here. All 300 ships returned home. Half of them never made it back. No battle, no signs, just vanished. Back at the council, Zelric stood before the few members still remaining. "There is no empire anymore," he said quietly. "Not ours, not theirs. There is only truth now." One senator wept, another screamed, but most just sat, broken. On a quiet moon far from the center, a small child asked her mother, "Will the humans come here too?" The mother held her close. "I don't know," she whispered, but in her heart, she feared the answer. Back on Frostcore, now hidden deeper in space, General Cairo sat alone, staring at the stars. Alira approached. "It's working," she said. "The galaxy is breaking apart." Cairo didn't smile. He looked tired. He looked haunted. "They made us ghosts," he whispered. "Now we haunt them." Alira sat beside him, but ghosts don't live forever. He nodded slowly. "One part left," he said. She looked at him. "The message?" He nodded. "Yes, it's time they hear it." The stars were quiet. No ships moved. No orders were given. No wars continued. The galaxy was holding its breath, waiting, fearing, because everyone knew. The humans were about to speak. On thousands of planets, screens flickered. Holograms appeared. Even the council's broken chamber glowed with blue light. A single message played, across every system. A voice. Calm. Human. But filled with weight, like 1,000 years of silence finally breaking. "You exiled us. You erased our names from history. You watched us suffer, and you turned away. But we survived. We endured the cold of space, the silence of betrayal, and the darkness of exile. And now, you remember." The screen changed. Images flashed. Starving human colonies on broken moons, children learning to build machines in secret, black ships rising from frozen shipyards. The Phantom, fleet launching into the void, then more, council worlds surrendering empires falling. People crying as they saw what they had forgotten. The voice returned. "We did not come back for revenge. We came back for truth. You forgot what you did to us, so we reminded you. You feared the memory of Earth, so we made it impossible to forget." In the council chamber, even Zelric stood frozen, listening. In markets, homes, palaces, slums, every species listened. Children, soldiers, leaders, all silent, all watching, all remembering. The message continued. "This is not the beginning of a new empire. This is the end of silence. We will not rule you. We will not destroy you. We will simply watch forever." Across the stars, a wave of emotion passed. Some wept, some dropped to their knees, some simply sat, unable to speak. Because they understood, humanity had not come back to conquer. They came back to be seen. Then, the final words, "Remember Earth." That is all we ever asked. The message ended. The screens faded. The silence returned. But now it was a different silence. Not from fear, from understanding. For the first time in 1,000 years. The galaxy truly saw humanity, not as exiles, not as monsters, but as survivors, builders, witnesses. Back on Frostcore, now hidden in deep space forever, General Cairo stood with Alira. "It's done," she said. Cairo nodded. "We never wanted a throne. he said quietly. We only wanted the stars to say our name again. She looked at him. And now they will. Ships of the Phantom Fleet began to return. Some were retired, some were sent to protect planets that had once turned them away, not out of loyalty, not out of kindness, but because memory brings change, and the galaxy had changed. Zelric, now no longer, a leader but just a man, looked at the stars from a quiet station. He whispered softly, Earth, I remember. And somewhere far away, deep in space, a human child looked out the window of a ship. She didn't know exile. She didn't know pain. She only knew one thing, that Earth was never forgotten again. The end.